Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining us today on what is our first masterclass within the World Food Forum Global Youth Action Initiative for 2025. So thanks everybody for joining us. It's a very special masterclass as we sort of launch our Four Betters masterclass series, which is also contributing to our Agri-Food Leadership and Education program. The Four Betters masterclass series follows FAO's strategic framework of Four Betters: better production, better nutrition, better environment, and better life. Today's session is focusing on the first, and that is better production. And we're looking at bridging theory and practice, unlocking youth potential to harness digital technology for agri-food systems transformation. So really looking forward to getting into this session. During the session, it will be led and facilitated by members of FAO's World Food Forum Global Youth Action Initiatives Young Scientists Group. So you'll hear from Gideon, Ayaz, and Isnawati. You'll hear a little bit about the work of the Young Scientist Group and what they've the publication that they produced last year, which was the role of digital technologies in multifaceted youth engagement for agri-food systems. So without further ado, I'll provide a quick introduction for our speakers for today, and then we'll pass over to them to kick off our session. So first of all, we're joined by Gideon Onyedikachi Iheme. Gideon is a doctoral researcher in nutrition informatics at Uppsala University with a robust academic foundation in human nutrition and data science. His doctoral research titled Global Application of Nutrition Informatics focuses on leveraging digital innovations to advance nutrition and health systems worldwide. We're also joined by Ayaz Mukarim Sheikh. Ayaz is a dedicated researcher in the University of Debrecen, specializing in specialized bee products and sustainable agriculture. As a young scientist at the World Food Forum and a DOSZ ambassador, Ayaz actively engages in global discussions on pressing issues such as food security, circular economy, and innovation. His research spans food science, bee product technology, and sustainability, with a focus on developing solutions that address environmental challenges and promote sustainable practices. And finally, we're joined by Isnawati Hidayah from Indonesia, who's currently pursuing a PhD through a joint supervision program between the Department of Economics and Law at Sapienza University of Rome, Italy, and the Department of Public Health and Primary Care at Leiden University Medical Center in the Netherlands. Her research explores the intersection of economic development and public health, especially on food nutrition security, with a particular focus on addressing inequalities related to poverty, rural communities, and gender disparities. So we look forward to hearing from all of you today. And without further ado, I'd like to pass it over to Isnawati. Isnawati.
Okay, thank you so much, Gideon, and thank you for everyone that have been joining us today. So, to get to know about what on your perspective before we are going deeper in our training or discussion, please kindly join us to do this short polling and by scanning the QR code, or you may also entering in menti.com and then entering the code in here. Okay, I will invite you to join us. And in here. And for those who have joining us by joining in the menti.com and then with the code, here's the question. In your opinion, what is the most important factor driving innovation in agri-food system? So we have sustainability and environmental impact, enhancing nutritional value product. We have also supporting biodiversity, or all of them. I will give you 5 more seconds for this one. Okay. Okay, it seems that most of the audience believe that all the factors are really important for the innovation in agri-food system. Okay, and are you ready to move to the next question? Okay, I will go to the next question. The next question is that, what agri-food system transformation are you driving? One inspired by the concept from school, research, or learning resources. You might enter your question, your answer, I mean. Okay, agroecology, and any other idea? Learning, research, school, technology, food waste, food sovereignty. Yeah, that's very important issue to touch on. And environmental sustainability, greenhouse management. Yes, so there are so many diverse effort or project or kind of initiative that can we do in the agri-food system transformation, especially learning from school research or any other learning resources. Okay, we also have soil conservation here, aquaponics, and then we have also next generation food producer. We have digital, renewable energy, and keep going, keep going, and keep going. So at least we have this kind of, brainstorming why this is really important to discuss about today. And then another question. This is a simple question. Do you have your own innovation, movement, initiative in any transforming agri-food system effort? For instance, you have research institute, or maybe you have a community, and then you have organization with your friends, and maybe you have a willingness to build up one day, or maybe you already have but you want to stop, or you have not decided yet, because it will be very interesting. Today we will discuss the example from Nigeria, from Indonesia, from Hungary as well. So okay, most of it's very diverse answer. So some people have so many have the initiative or movement, and then some of them are still okay, want to stop it, and some also answer that they don't have it. It's very interesting to know. Okay, so we have another question. Maybe this is for 10 seconds. Do you think incorporating technology is essential for success of the project? Okay, so we can see the real-time answer. Most of people say yes, but some of them maybe, and there are also people that believe that no, so it's not essential. Okay, very interesting. And we need to move to another question. What is the biggest obstacle that you face when you're running your own project? And we have 10 seconds for this one. Maybe you want to say the funding, or maybe networking, or yes, absolutely, funding is big obstacle. Research database, okay, yes, lack of funding again. Equipment, networking. Yeah, this kind of masterclass is very important because we also can have a networking, and keep going and keep going. But we need to move to another question. This is the last question before I move the screen to my friend Gideon. Have you ever considered on giving up after you faced all the challenges? Oh, yeah, the blue one is yes. The second one is no. Okay. So some of them say yes, and the other one, maybe the blue, the red and the pink one, say no. So that's all the polling today. And it's very important to know, because in the end we see, or we know that maybe you want to stop on doing or your project, and some people want to continue to this one. And this masterclass is very important to bridging all this kind of question. So I give the floor back to Gideon. And to the, okay.
Thanks, Isnawati.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can pass over to and welcome Gideon. So yeah, it was great to hear from your perspectives. Do keep those in mind as well throughout the session as we go forward in your own experience, and what are some of the barriers to your engagement in agri-food systems, and what can support it as well. But yeah, thanks a lot, Isnawati. And yeah, pass over to Gideon. Thanks.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much, You're all welcome to this masterclass section. I will start off by presenting the outcomes of the YSG report that we did. YSG is the Young Scientist Group under the World Food Forum. And for the past 2 years, we have worked together as a team, and we produced this report titled Digital Technologies for Multidimensional Youth Engagement in Agri-Food System Transformation. The QR code is attached. I will give you some more time to scan it at the end of this particular presentation. So, of course, we have recognized these factors that digital technology it's currently immensely contributing to the development of agri-food system. And of course, youth engagement is really important. Youth voices should be heard, and digital technology have become an everyday part of our lives as young people. We can't just do without digital technology. So since it is something that we are so integrated into, it's important that we also look at how that can help us achieving our goals, in the agri-food system sector. So, and of course, our work was classified into 4 domains. First, we looked at how youth use digital technologies in their various areas. And then also we delved into digital technologies that have been developed by young people. And we also looked at how youth use these digital technologies to foster engagement around the agri-food system transformation. And of course, how this can become an agent of decision making, mainstreamed into the agri-food system context. And we were able to find a lot of, outputs. This is just like a key summary of it. It will be important that you go through these findings. And I could see some of us also mention technology as a very important aspect of what they are considering or using in advancing agri-food system. We saw that science and technology backyards are some of the approaches which young people use, in their work, and this has to do with how the various efforts built from science and research is being brought down, brought down to the farm to see how that can be purely, integrated. And of course, there are now a lot of AI-based solutions which we were able to find how they helped to advance the agri-food system transformation. We also saw that young people developed several mobile applications in terms of development, mobile applications, online e-commerce platforms, to either secure funding and of course to also communicate and ensure that they are able to achieve their goals. And of course, food waste, which was part of the focus of the work that they do. Then another aspect is also, what young people do in terms of engagement. And there has been digital technology has provided virtual platforms for several online, networking and collaboration, both to such as conferences, such as research dissemination, and so many other aspects. And also in the decision-making processes, it helps to facilitate, dialogues between key, stakeholders in the agri-food system, and then through digital technologies, youths have been mobilized to actually speak up and advocate for various rights. And then we also went for that to look at the various perspectives amongst young people, and we saw that the digital technology offered several benefits, amongst the Young Scientists Group and the members of the Youth Policy Board. We gained these insights, and we saw that yes, digital technology it helps in terms of reach. It helps to foster collaboration and improve the efficiency of the work being done. But then there are also, several barriers that are being faced, which one key aspect is the access. not having access, it's quite disproportionate across regions, across groups. And then also there's also the gap, both in the funding gap, in the knowledge gap, how to even use these tools to also make meaning. So yes, we could also mention that while digital technologies create opportunities, they do not necessarily ensure it. So there needs to be several efforts to see that digital technology is being properly utilized by youths to drive all these points that we've mentioned. And we've recommended more access. We also recommend increased capacity, and we also recommend efforts that would include youths in the decision-making processes, and of course, encourage youths into agri-food system transformation initiatives that involve digital technologies. So please, I would give just a few seconds for you to scan this code, and I'm sure that perhaps after my presentation, or someone can maybe drop the link of this YZ report in the chat box so that we can have access to it. So I would now also just go into details to just share briefly some of the work I have been doing as well to advance digital technology adoption in agri-food system, sharing perspective from Nigeria. Now, just like the question that we have been asked, each one of us have different domains in agri-food system which we are currently working on or advancing. And one of the major areas, I have much background in nutrition, and of course, I did up until my master's level. I had that in Nigeria, and in the course of time doing research, it was observed that several tools, several new tools, is not fully adopted in this region due to several gaps. And then I saw that over time, this has spurred up my interest in several works and, of course, engagement which I have done over the years. And then this is the three areas which I will just highlight briefly. And then yeah, this also led me to found a non-profit group called the NDDI Africa, which our work revolves around these three areas. First is that we are much interested in generating evidence. Generating evidence is actually a think tank group of young people, young researchers in Africa, and then also when we actually identify this evidence, it also informs us of the gaps, the tools lacking, and then also we go ahead in terms of developing or trying to adapt existing tools to suit our local context. And then we also engage in workforce capacity, development activities, which I will just rush through. This is some of the works which we have done. One of our flagship work around the food label. It's just all about food environment. What happens at the point where people make the decision on what to eat? And we have looked at to what extent there is compliance both from the industry and, of course, the individuals who make these choices. So just take note of this. I would now you could see some of the works which I have done in terms of the theory. Remember, our topic is from theory to practice, and then some of the work which I have done has looked more in terms of tools compliance. The first one is on WHO infant and young child feeding indicators. The other one is on the anthropometrics application of it. I've also looked at compliance of pre-packaged foods in Nigeria, and then my PhD work, it's actually on a much more bigger scale, looking at the application of nutrition informatics, which is nutrition and technology, how that is being applied, of course, much more in the healthcare setup. So this is what is the bedrock of some of the efforts which I'm now, actively working on. Now, you could see that has led me towards, the practice aspects. theory, it's important. It builds up evidence. It helps to inspire you. And I have been part of a team which developed a dietary assessment tool, the MyFood24. I am also currently working with other partners in Nigeria, and there is a work ongoing as it relates to the development of the Nigerian nutrient profiling system. We are currently also building up the evidence on this data of this food environment works we have done to actually develop a database for pre-packaged foods, and currently to also advance the next level of my doctoral work. There is a plan to develop a machine learning assisted model to facilitate nutrition care and documentation. So all of this in one way or the other reflects how digital technology is actively being incorporated in advancing the nutrition component of the agri-food system. And then not just that, we as a team also are also fostering innovation among young people, where we also acknowledge and reward young people who are driving innovations within our region. And then you could also see some of the trainings that we conduct bi-monthly, and these are also fostering, it's much more focused on helping, researchers in developing countries understand some of the tools being used to transform agri-food systems. And of course, we have lots of activities related to this lined up. So this clearly, just explains some of the work which I've been doing over time that just helps to advance agri-food system. Thank you so much, and I would of course hand over to the next presenter, Ayas, to continue. And of course, I'm happy to take questions at the end. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Gideon, and thank you, Isnavati, for a wonderful presentation and taking us to the Mentis poll. I mean, it was really amazing. Just a minute, I'm sharing my screen.
Hi, yes.
Yes, just a minute.
Oh, good. We
There's
have you
some
back.
technical issue. Yeah.
No problem. If you like, we could go to Isnawati and come back.
Yeah,
Or...
please.
Yeah?
Yeah, no
Okay.
problem. Isnavati can go. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm back to you, Isnawati, and then we'll come back to Ayaz after.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much. Wait a second. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. How about this one?
Perfect. Yep. I mean, you could be, perfect at the start. Thanks,
Okay. Thank you so much, Aisin. So today we would like to discuss so many interesting things after my colleague Gideon explaining about the initiative in Nigeria, now coming to our country in Indonesia. So we have this empowering rural youth by bridging the research and digitalization to do the transformative agri-food system. And then for that, before Aisin already introduced myself, I'm part of Young Scientist Group of Woodwood Forum here. And then let me tell you about the story of this initiative. In 2016, back then, me and my friends often doing kind of the society empowerment in rural area. And I witnessed in one small house, there are two women living there, and both of them elderly. And the red one is the daughter of the white grandmother here. And she has kind of disabilities. So she have so many limitations, so she cannot work. And in this place, I was questioning myself, what should I do to contribute on solving this kind of problem? Because I see that these women living under triple burden of deprivation, which is hunger, poor, and also malnourished. And the question arises, and I dedicate myself to do research and working in academia to solve or a bit contribute in this kind of problem. At least I can provide science-based recommendation to the policymaker. That's what I thought back then. So I enrolled in very high quality universities for my master and currently for the PhD in economic development and public health. However, there is kind of longing question that keep haunting me. What should I do to make all the research is not only in the paper? So how could it bring impact to the grassroots level or to the community? Then this is the first time Rotasi Institute was born with my colleagues from Indonesia. So what is Rotasi Institute? It stands for the Institute for Rural Development and Sustainability. So we are working in several SDG schools. So we have no poverty, zero hunger, and others. It kind of multidisciplinary approach. And we have several teams under our organization, from economic development, sustainable agriculture, until chemistry. So our main niche is that we are focusing on rural development and sustainability. We are driven by young people perspective, and most of us here kind of young people, and we are using multidisciplinary approach for one mission. What mission is that? It's to contribute to the transformative sustainable food system in rural area. So we use multi-dimensional approach here. At first, because we also have social science researcher, we have this data, primary data, secondary data. Why this is important? Because we want to make the innovation that we brought to society is relevant with what they need. And we develop it since 5 years ago until now, and in the future we also will working on it. So we are trying to do the agroecological farming and also soilless farming using the science innovation. What is it? Our team developed biostimulant and biofertilizer using local microbiomes. And then we also use technologies, kind of hydroponics here, because we would like to also not only using the soil, but also using soilless farming. And from all this activity, for sure, we have this kind of residue for agriculture. Then in here, we produce a composting using the mechanization. In the end, we also employ the digitalization, what we are also highlighting during this masterclass, for knowledge transfer and capacity building, and to promote our agricultural product. In the end goal is to promoting knowledge awareness for healthier planet and enhance the food security. For social science, we did a lot of research. For instance, we did in women and digitalization, food security, intergenerational food and nutrition security with all my colleagues here that in the picture. And I have opportunity representing Young Scientist Group to be an expert in the expert general meeting by UN Women to explain the recommendation according to the finding and expertise that I had there. So the story come also when we want to do something complex innovation kind of mechanization or any science or digitalization, we need to listen to the society, to the grassroots. So we did a forum group discussion here, so we can listen to the what they need actually. And then for the science and innovation here, my friends, our team developing biofertilizer and biostimulant and try to grow better food production growth and more sustainable using the local microbiome. And then for the technology, we also empowering young people, especially to grow their own food. We also have team in Indonesia. We have several pilot project there, even though it's not that big, but we are keep taking care of it since several years ago. And one of our team also developing this kind of IoT. So his name is Imam, developing nutrients to precision agriculture. So how by this kind of technology, with the smartphone, we can control and monitoring whether our plants or hydroponic pilot project need to get more nutrient or not, or we can control anything using the smartphone. And it's still under development for that, but we have the small scale of this IoT. And then from all those activity, for sure we have this kind of, residue, or it can be waste for that. And we also collect the waste from people that living in surrounding area to make this composting. We introduce the science behind composting. We have a team here. We teach them how to make the compost step by step and how to use the mechanization to make it faster and easier. And of course, we also involve young people in this process. And this is our product. So this is actually kind of composting and the plant media that we developed, but we cannot sell it publicly yet because we need to make sure that the component inside of the compost is really standardized, something like that. So still under development, but because we are very small initiative now, it took a lot of funds and time. That's why it took quite a bit long for our progress for making that. We also produce vegetables that we sell to the people in surrounding areas. And this is, we also try to promote using social media about any kind of product that we produce in our pilot project. And then we also try to sell it to the society directly, but in here we also try to introduce you how to do the sustainable farming system with the knowledge that we already transfer knowledge with the local and also young people that involved in this project. We also go to the school and then try to make a workshop, simple workshop, introducing about the how school or student can able to join in this kind of initiative. And we also do this knowledge transfer or capacity building with the children of the farmer or people in surrounding areas. So we teach them how to use the digital tools and also digital access for enhancing their game or their, the learning within the area. Because these little children very interested with this kind of approach. And last but not least, with this effort, we already reached more than 10,000 audience online or offline. We collaborate with multi-level stakeholder, whether this is academia, then government, startup, or international organization. And we have our website. For instance, we make podcasts or we try to make the reels in Instagram. And for sure, because we are research institute independent, so we produce our own research. So we disseminate it among the academia as well. And this is the example of our paper. And what is the biggest achievement that we have? Of course, we are empowering young people to involve in this kind of initiative and effort. And we got acknowledgement by the government as the best research institute and by the ministry. So we got acknowledgement from what we have done in 2022. And I also honored as being one of the top Agrifood pioneer by World Food Prize Foundation. And hereby I would like to show you the incredible person or team behind Rotasi Institute. You can see that we are very diverse. We have people in agroecology, we have in sustainable agriculture, we have people from economic development, from the environment and water management. So we are very diverse young people involved in this initiative. We already collaborate as well with several organizations, whether this is university or maybe another kind of initiative or non-government organization as well. And last but not least, because I have 10 minutes of presentation, and to wrap up the sharing, we are a volunteer-based organization. We face a lot of challenge. For instance, we don't have much networking. We don't have much funding, but we survive for this past 5 years together and keep walking because we believe every baby step is matter in our effort. And then why we are still surviving, because we have patience, persistence, and hope on doing all these things. So thank you so much for your time. I give the floor back to my friend Aisin.
Thanks a lot, Isnomati. That was fantastic to hear about all the work that Rotasi are doing. Really, there's an awful lot and really meaningful engagement within the communities where you're located. So yeah, thanks a lot for that. And yeah, so I'll pass over to Ayaz. Ayaz, let me know if it's working. And
Yeah, let's try.
yeah, remember if there are any questions at the end, we'll come back to them after Ayaz. Yeah, it looks like we can see it. Yep.
Yes.
So
Is it visible
Ayaz.
now?
Yep, perfect.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Isnamati and Gideon and Osin. I know sometimes technical difficulties can occur. So by the way, I'm going to tell you an interesting story about how research can convert into a business-based innovation. Most of the time, what happens, I mean, youngsters, they don't want to go into the research since academia is not so famous for getting a lot of monies and a lot of, money-based opportunities. So that's not the truth. You can come in the research and you can understand the different research perspectives, and you can understand the research and try to convert that research into a business innovation. So I'm going to share you an interesting story about like how we changed everything. So, oh, just a minute, wrong presentation. Osin, can you please check out that presentation, what I shared with you?
Yep. The one that's labeled Ayaz
Yes.
part. So the second one is the one you shared with
Yeah.
me. Yep.
Yes. Can you please open that? I don't
Yep.
know what's the wrong issue here.
Certainly.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, it's there now. Is it
Okay.
visible now?
Yes, and just
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
perfect.
So the story is of like how we converted that research into a business innovation. So the title of the topic, I mean, the presentation, the case study is like how you can change the research into innovation, and it's depending upon the technology what we developed. So usually most of the people focusing on technology-based innovation, especially the youngsters now, everyone is focusing towards climate change issues, global warming issues, and there are multiple issues going on. So we figured out with the local farmers and beekeepers that the issues those are, I mean, those issues what they are facing. So I'm from India, but currently working in Hungary. So I'm working in food science and technology. So we have a innovation center here in the university. So we try to interact with the farmers and we try to understand the problems with the beekeepers, farmers, or the people those who are working in farming community. So few farmers and beekeepers came to us and they said it's like they are facing some problems related to the decrease in population of bees, and because of that they are not getting the exact amount of production of honey what usually they used to get it. So we tried to figure out like what was the problem. So when we figured out and we collected some data about the climate change, like the water issues, the drought issues, the temperature increase, and even the climate change. So we found the population of bees is bees is decreasing drastically. So we checked like why. I mean, there are certain reasons: the sudden change in temperatures and sudden change in climate. So there are multiple factors. So we discussed with them, and then they said we need to have some help. We need to have some solutions. So what we did, we checked it like why the bees are not coming and why they are not getting exact the nectar, how they usually they suck the nectar from the flowers. So what we did, we found some solution. So that's sorry. So these are some problems usually. Let me tell you the problems related to climate change. So these are some factors like 422 million people affected by diabetes globally. And I'm totally taking you to another topic, the way I was discussing because of this totally change in the presentation. Sorry for that. So these are some problems when you see that the current people facing the diabetes issues, and there are some deaths because of that, and there are a lot of issues related to climate change. So these are some factors what we checked when we were helping to the beekeepers. So we figure out that there is a solution, how we can help to the beekeepers. So we found out the solution to help them. So usually when farmer came to us, they discussed the problem related to beekeepers. So we figured out the problem is they are not getting the nectars from the flowers. So we try to develop a technology, which is a bee feed technology, where we can help them to increase their population, as well as we can develop bee-based product innovation. So the technology is we developed a feed which is made up of sugar syrup, and we kept that sugar syrup. We use medicinal herbs, and we incorporate that medicinal herbs with the sugar syrup, and we keep that bags into the beehives. You can see here. So first we take different medicinal extracts. So we choose green walnut, and then we make a mixture of it, and then we add it with the sugar, and then we keep it for fermentation. And then after the fermentation happens, we prepare that solution and keep it in the boxes. And then the bees come and they suck that syrup, and they produce the bees, the honey. So usually when the bee goes to the environment, usually they get a nectar, but because of the climate change, they were not able to get the nectar from flowers. So we figured out this alternative, that how they can improve their nutrition. Even this syrup can increase their population. So this is like how we developed the technology. So after that, what we did, we collected that the honey what they produced after taking that solution, and we figured out there is a tremendous effect when we conducted human clinical trials after giving that product what we developed through this innovation. So what we did, we collected that honey and mixed with the yogurt and given to the people with the hospital, and we tested that how this bee product can change their impact, on human health. So we collected the blood sugar samples for 21 days, and then what we checked, the blood sugar level in the normal healthy humans, it was totally decreased. Like every day we're seen after before giving them the samples, and after giving them the samples, we collected the blood sugar levels of the humans, and we found a really good results. So you can see that when we started, it was like up, and then slowly started decreasing. So the product what we developed through this innovation, it helped us to reduce the blood sugar levels in humans. So this is the entire human clinical studies. And the product after that what we developed is we call it Zingbee. So this is like how it looks. And we developed that product into the 3 different phases. First, we help the farmers or beekeepers to understand the problem and to identify the gap, like how they are facing the problems for bees population, like to enhance their population. And secondly, once the bees eat this product, the feed what we develop, after that they can produce some honey, which is, we call it as a bee product since it doesn't fit under the honey category. So we call it as a bee product. And then we patented that process. And we also help the cluster of beekeepers, like how they can use this technology and transfer this technology into their business and into their production. And after that, once they have this product, they can sell as a functional food for the people with really good rates. And so how? So the main purpose, like how technology can help to these beekeepers. So usually people go with the traditional ways of beekeeping, and because of that, they don't understand how they can increase the population of bees also, and how they can increase their production. So if you use our technology, what we have developed in the research center, they can increase the population of bees. They can also provide them a good nutrition so that their population can also increase, and they can also increase the population. They can also increase the production of bees, honey, which is bee product, and they can also help the beekeepers to increase their production capacity. Like usually they used to get less production with the beekeeping, but once you use this technology, you can enhance your capacity. So one of the best example is the technology. So we collected the different databases of the temperature, climate, and even the data from the bees, like their colonies, and we used some technology to forecast the growth of the bees and even the production of the beekeepers. So through using technology, we converted into a traditional method to a technical method where we can enhance their production. So this is some kind of a production capacity where most of the beekeepers come and they use the technology and they develop their products. So these are some pictures. Thank you very much. I'm really sorry, since because of the totally change in the presentation and some technical issue, I couldn't able to, take you to the proper journey. But you can go and visit our website called www.zingvi.eu, where you can get entire information. And please, if you have any question or anything, you can ask us now also, and then you can drop me an email where I will be happy to answer your questions. Thank you so much. Over to Osin.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Ayaz. And yeah, I think people have, reacting the same way I'm reacting, sort of very insightful, and it's really interesting research as well on the bee products. But yeah, so I want to open the floor, another couple of questions already in the Q&A section. So if there are any other questions, do share them in the chat or the Q&A, because we have about just under 10 minutes now for this. So yeah, thanks a lot, Ayaz, Isnawati, and Gideon. But yeah, the first question is anonymous, but it was during your presentation, Isnawati, so maybe we can come to you. So what are the strategies that you use to empower the youth or community to adopt sustainable agriculture / farming?
Okay, should I answer directly or
Yeah,
okay, so we invite you to join in our initiative. That's the question, isn't it?
what strategies,
What's
yeah, to empower youth or the community for sustainable agriculture?
Okay, yeah. So basically, when we try to invite youth, or especially that living in the rural area, because we also invite women organization joining on our initiative too. The first thing that we did is doing the FGD with them. So by sitting together, we can listen what their culture may be, what their concern, and what the best approach that we can do to engage with them. So they also have this kind of um, feeling of helping owning this kind of project too during our journey. So that's very important. So that's the first strategy that we did, Oisin. We need to listen to them before we are going to our innovation. Thank you.
Fantastic. And yeah, listening and understanding the needs of young people or community needs as well is an approach that we take as well within the World Food Forum Global Youth Action Initiative. And as we aim to sort of strengthen our educational capacity development programs within local communities, that's what we'll be doing. And it's a big part of our work as well this year. So understanding those needs and listening to people, then also going to the communities. So it's not this top-down approach from here in headquarters, but rather it's decentralized and localized. And that's our approach as well, Global Youth Action. Ayaz, I don't know if you wanted to answer that, sort of on strategies for youth engagement, community engagement.
Yes. Pardon, can you please repeat the question?
So the question was just in terms of youth strategies for sustainable agriculture and community engagement.
So there are several youth initiatives taken care by different community-based driven startups in different countries. So what I feel when you work in a cluster nowadays, most of the youth uh, they want to focus on technology because most of the people are focusing towards AI. So when they check the different technologies now, how they are helping youngsters in food and agriculture, they can integrate those new technologies, what exactly have been developed by the technologists, especially related to the tech startups like AI-based precision agriculture, remote sensing, or different technology what is available. They can integrate those technologies with their clusters or with their farming communities, and they can use this technology and enhance their production capacity or the way they are dealing the traditional agriculture communities or the way of the farming. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Ayaz. Um, so I'll go to another question here. Looking at maybe this one could be for you, Gideon. How does citizen-generated data revolutionize agriculture and empower communities? Is that something that you've worked with in any of your research, Gideon? The citizen-generated data.
Mm. Okay. Yes, of course it does. I guess what actually matters about the type of evidence being collected is that first evidence needs to be collected in a form that it can influence policies. This also goes to also address. I think there's also one question about type of policies. Yes, when this evidence are being collected, first, I think one of the approaches I have seen that works very well is when you co-create, evidence generation with kind of political leaders, government stakeholders, because they would have first-hand, information about that data, and of course the recommendations which come through it um actually works well. Like it is something that they can attest to being part of it, and then you get all forms of support, both funding and most importantly political will for you to drive and empower citizens. So yes, it works. The major thing is just to be quite strategic about the data collected, because of course what we talked about is looking at how we can transform theory, theoretical based knowledge that we have gained over time into what is now practicable and applicable. So I hope that answers it.
Great. Thanks a lot, Gideon. I might have time for one more answer for everybody. So maybe we'll start with you, Isnawati, and it's the question that's focusing on policies. So what policy do you think are most needed, looking at the current situation, in order to further engage more youth within the agri-food system, and also enhancing the use of agrotech while maintaining sustainability? So looking at the enabling environment for policies for youth engagement, and how can digital technologies or agricultural technologies support this?
Okay, thank you for the question. So it's very interesting. So what policy that we can recommend to make this enabling ecosystem is that we need to provide the correct ecosystem for young people on using the digitalization to improve the transfer to joining in transformative agri-food system. What is that? For instance, providing the networking and then mentoring, provide the fundings, for instance, and also the government need to collaborate with multi stakeholders in this kind of effort. So it cannot only one certain stakeholder dominating on every level. So those kind of common engagement, I mean community engagement as well, need to be done. So it's very comprehensive approach that need to be done by the government. And there is also question how to make community involved. The question in Q&A is that when we did any kind of innovation or any kind of approach, we need to involve them. So they are also as an actor. They are not only as a, object of the things, but they are the doer here. We are facilitating them, and then we also give them encourage and support so they can stand in their own feet. So that's my answer. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Isnawati. Gideon, I'll come to the same question. How do you, so looking at an enabling environment for youth engagement, and how can digital technologies support that? Gideon.
Okay, yes, digital technologies can actually support that in so many ways, because enabling environment, it's one thing that that needs to be quite addressed, particularly those from low income settings. One, for instance, opening of like a very like an e-commerce setting, that can house various producers, young producers who can use that as an avenue to market their products. It would help. It will help bridge some of that gap, and of course, policies that also try to address, financing, because one of the gaps that we also observed as well, apart from knowledge gaps, it's also that financing digital technologies that are capable of transforming agri-food system to some extent is quite expensive, particularly because there is lack of enabling environment in some rural locations. So whatever that can help address, like put efforts into having like a centralized hub, an e-commerce setting where not just one person can thrive, several other small peasants and young people who are actually striving to make impact in agri-food system would leverage upon that would be quite immense for. Okay.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Gideon. And I will pass now over to Ayaz for the same question, and then following that, Ayaz, wrap up and closing steps, but from the World Food Forum Education
Yeah.
Program. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Osin, Thank you so much, Osin. Actually, I was addressing some questions through the Q&A section, so I'm answering them in person. Like I directly type the answers and I send them the answers through the deck. So what I feel, Leticia and Gideon, they tried their best to explain, and it's a wonderful time that the World Food Forum has organized this really wonderful master class with participants from the LF program. And without further delay, I would like to conclude this presentation. First, Gideon started to give deep insights regarding the report, what we have been launched by the Young Scientist Group, which explains about how digital technologies can help to the farmers and to the budding farmers, or let's say entrepreneurs, or the people those who want to do something in agriculture. So it is really a good piece of information. If you go and check it, that will be really great. And then after that, he also mentioned about the work he is conducting in NDDI in Nigeria. It's related to, I think, nutritional community, where he's building a community with the like-minded people, those who are working in the field of nutrition. He's trying to provide them a knowledge through policy advocacy, webinars, workshops, and different approaches, like where he is empowering women also, and then he's also providing the opportunities to the youngsters. And then after that, we went through the experience of Isnavati. Like she's currently doing her PhD with joint PhD with two different universities in Italy and Netherlands. And she's also managing the Rotasi Institute, which is based in Indonesia. And through this institute, she is conducting multiple initiatives where they are empowering women, they are helping youngsters, they are helping children, they are understanding the local issues in the food and agriculture. They are trying to provide them real technology-based solutions. They're also providing them skill-based education, and most of the things it's related to sustainable agriculture, circular economy, and impact-based or impact-driven innovation. So thank you so much, Isnavati, for sharing the wonderful information about Rotasi Institute and your initiatives, like how you are helping the local communities and youngsters in that region. And for me, we are also helping the beekeepers and local farmers. Every month we have consultations with the for local communities. And since in this part of the world, the government is really doing great work. Like they do provide information through different agriculture reports and newsletters and the radios. So through that, the farmers and beekeepers, the local people come, and then we understand their local issues and problems, and we try to provide them a technical based solutions which can be easy to understand, so not so complex like some languages or something, but it's technically easy solutions for the beekeepers and farmers. And even the people, those who are working in, especially in a technical based agriculture theme, let's say they are using precision agriculture or remote sensing, we try to provide them real time based solutions. So those were the highlights or the key points of today's master class. And most of the people joined and they expressed their interest and their questions. And we do hope that we have tried our best to answer your questions. And if you have any questions, I mean, any further questions, you can anytime reach out to us through social media. You can connect us. You can connect us through LinkedIn, and you can join the website. Like you can join the newsletter of World Food Forum, and even the Education and Youth Skill Hub department, and even the ALEP of the World Food Forum, to understand the different initiatives taken care by the World Food Forum and the youth group of the World Food Forum. And I would like to invite you all to visit our website of World Food Forum to understand the different initiatives where you can see there are different programs where you can get help. Let's say if you have some good ideas, if you have some impact-based research innovation or something, you can apply for a transformative research challenge. And there are other events, there are other programs like a food innovator lab and multiple programs, which is like, I think it's popularly available and it's very easy, you can go and apply, and you can get opportunities. Let's say if you have really good impact based startup or idea, then you can have a good opportunity to come in front of the technical persons and even the World Food Forum team, and you can represent and participate. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Osin, Leticia, and all the panelists and all the participants for joining today's master class. We really appreciate your time and efforts, and looking forward to join in different events. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.